In this video, I'm going to show you how you can move water from one end to the other underground. We're going to discuss all the different types of end pieces you need, how to put the fittings and elbows on, also discuss preventing water leaks by using clamps and a ratchet set, and then we're going to run those lines in a trench underneath the ground so you can send water from one end to the other to create self-watering garden beds. Sit back, relax, it's Handy Andy DIY. Hi everybody, it's Andy Barrar, Handy Andy from handyandymedia.com, and normally I'm a tech guy. I do review tech products, but I also do a lot of DIY projects at home. So if you're into that content, you definitely want to like, subscribe, and go to the playlist where you can see previous gardening videos. In this video, what I'm basically doing is setting up a new self-watering gardening system for some new beds that I created. And this is really part one, where I'm sending water from one end of my front yard to the other. So without further ado, let's go ahead and show you step by step on what you need to do to send water from one end to the other. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have one end piece over here where I'm going to attach a garden hose, but underneath the lawn, I'm going to dig a trench and run an irrigation line. And that's because I created these two new raised garden beds. You see there's two right there on the left side, but I'm going to put a T here so that one line goes all the way left. And then on that T, there's going to be another line that's going to go to the right because I have two additional garden beds that I've also built out of used fence panels. So you can see I've already put some grass clippings in that one, sitting right against the fence. And then here's this third garden bed yet to be filled, but you can see 1, 2, 3. All three of these are going to be self-watering garden beds. Probably grow cilantro, maybe spinach, some greens, anything that bolts easy in the sun because it's against that fence. I think it should work. So basically what I have to do is run water from one end, digging a trench all the way to this other end over here, then to a T to push the water to create a self-watering gardening bed. First things first, I gotta get that trench. So I'm gonna use a shovel to run that line and then do it on both sides so that I can take the grass out and then get started. Now I'm gonna put that first end piece. You can see I already started it. You can attach a garden hose to that one end using a heat gun to get it nice and hot so I can put that elbow on without too much force. Otherwise, it's really rigid, but it gets malleable once you heat it up with a heat gun. So it's a great little tool to have if you do a lot of irrigation projects. Next, I gotta use a clamp and a ratchet set, which I highly recommend to get it nice and tight. You could use just like a flathead screwdriver, but a ratchet set ensures that it is tight. Not too tight that you make a hole, but good to go. Now on that long end of the irrigation line, I'm getting that ready, and then I'm putting that new piece that I just built, and I'm putting the ratchet set and using to get the clamps on nice and tight. From there, I can now insert it there. You see that piece of wood? What I'm gonna do is screw it onto that wood, and what that's gonna allow me to do is to stretch out the irrigation line as I pull it through this trench that I have created. And you can see there's the trench, there's the line, it's all loopy-de-loop, but that's not a problem because now I can push on it, pull on it, get it all flat and straight and inside that trench. So that's why I started on that one end and screwed it on. So now I can pull onto it, push it all the way across. Here we go. Here's how it looks. So you see that end piece, a garden hose, you can attach it right onto that. But now the water is going down from that elbow in the trench. You see that irrigation line, it's all straightened out, coming all the way across. And then it's going to meet the end where you can see I've already cut it off. Here it is. Now, if I run that and put it against right where that post is, just enough. Now I just got to put a new piece, and there's that T. You can see that T connection with the clamp, and it's screwed right onto that post. It's not going anywhere. And then there is that elbow there, two clamps on each side. You always have to have two clamps on each side to make sure you don't get a leak. And there is that irrigation line, nice and tight, straight line all the way across, coming all the way to this end where I could attach some kind of a garden hose and basically run the water underground rather than having a long hose across. So now I just got to fill it up, and there's what it looks like with the grass back on. You can see there's that end piece sitting nice and high, and you can barely see that trench now. You know, I did a pretty good job cutting out the grass, pushing it back on, stomping on it with my foot. Because if you don't do this, the crows are going to start picking on it. But I'm doing this in the fall. By spring, it should look pretty good. There's a little bit left over I didn't have. I'll put some dirt there and grass seeds. And here it is, all finished up. I got that T. I run irrigation line all the way to this end. Got it open right now because I have yet to test it. I'll do that in the springtime. And then if you come back to this T, you can see it goes all the way across to this garden bed and then continues to the third garden bed way on the other side. And then from here, I just have to run spaghetti lines in the spring, fill these up with mushroom manure, and then I can grow a lot of cilantro, never have to water anything. You can see I'm putting all those clippings and, just organic waste in there in the time being, because all that is good carbon for the garden when I put the mushroom manure. So there we go, all the way across. That's a lot of garden bed. That's a lot of cilantro I could possibly grow next year. And it's by the fence, so I don't think it'll bolt. We'll have to see if that works out the way that I plan. Just want to show you a project I'm also doing in the backyard. Very similar. You see this irrigation line? This is a new irrigation line that I've attached. If you saw my previous videos, you could have seen how I made this. But this is a new one. I drilled a hole there. It's going underneath the deck. And I'm just going to come to this end. You can see it's running underneath. This was kind of hard to do, especially after the fact. But you'll notice there is another trench. I've already filled this up, but underneath, same thing. Irrigation line going all the way across, but then it just stops right over here. And the reason it stops is because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a spigot. I'm going to attach it to this post right here. I have a separate spigot so I can create 4 zones. And the reason why is I have this garden bed all across this fence line, growing peppers here right now. Made this last year, doesn't have watering yet. I had to manually water all these pepper plants, but it grew. Didn't know if it would grow against that fence, but it did. So I need to create a watering system, and that's why I'm doing this trench right now in the fall, because by the time it's spring, you're not even going to see it, and I can finish off that project and create a self-watering gardening bed, connecting it to this spigot over here. So I hope you enjoyed this DIY project, a little behind the scenes look on a irrigation project that I'm currently working on in my front lawn. Like I said, this is just stage 1 of creating this self-watering gardening system. I wanted to do this now in the fall so I don't see that trench line underneath my grass. It gives it time to grow, especially during the winter, and then of course in the spring when the grass comes back. But you'll want to subscribe to this channel to watch part 2 that'll happen springtime, where I will put some mushroom manure in there, run the spaghetti lines, test the whole watering system out, set it on a timer so I never have to water the gardening beds, so I can grow my own food. And let's see if I can actually grow cilantro against that fence line. If you know, or if you think it will work or not, let me know in the comments below. Once again, my name is Andy Barrar, Handy Andy. Make sure you like, subscribe. I'll see you again in the springtime as I go into hibernation this winter. Until then, see you again at the next video.